Good evening, Speed Gaming. Once again, sorry about those technical difficulties, but we are back. I am Dark Moon Firelight, Dark Moon EX, Dark Moon, call me what you will. I'm joined in the booth by Lord Fizzlebeef. How you doing, Lord Fizzlebeef, once again?
What's all this, then? Happy to be here for this lovely morning race between Len the Cat and Braxious Muse. Len the Cat, someone I've known in the community for a good long time. Braxious Muse, a feisty up-and-comer. I'm interested to see how this race goes down.
Yeah, I've seen Len the Cat race before in previous races. I mean, I'm from the YouTube community before joining Discord, but I've seen him race plenty. He's good. I don't know anything about Braxious, so I'm interested to see how this.
Our theme for the tournament this year, Sail the High Seas. We're taking a bit of an interesting tactic with flags. We're not only forcing a class, which we're forcing a white mage, which is consistent through the entire round one, but we've also banned a class. We've banned the thief. What do you think about that?
I think that's quite interesting, honestly. I mean, the thief is one of those classes where you don't really miss it until you don't have it, and then once in a while you're sitting there going, really kind of wish I had that red pajama guy hanging around in my party now because I want to run, I want to use some black magic, I have some weapons here the thief can use, and now that there's a hole in my party, I kind of wish I had him.
No, I agree. I'm definitely one of those oddballs that takes a thief. It's just such a great utility class. Like, you can run from things in the early game, you can put them in heavy armor if you get the tail, you can give them 1 through 4 black magic. It takes a lot of work to get them to that point, so in the mid-game they kind of suffer, but you usually are happy to see them in the early and the late game.
Well, and I think that's something that the Final Fantasy Randomizer really highlights here, is characters you might not have used in the original NES game, such as the Black Belt and the Thief. Oh, looks like we're actually going right now, but yeah, as they're moving into Corneria, the Randomizer makes classes like those much more viable. Looks like you're hitting the White Magic shop right now. Harm 4, heal,
Harm 4 is going to be good for that white mage.
It's certainly
difficult to get a white mage off the ground early, and Harm 4 is one of the spells that can do it.
Oh, absolutely. Harm 4 is great. It's great for some of the enemies in Topher, or just for Toph, Temple of Fiends, when you first have to go there. It's great for Marsh Cave because there's so many undead in there. It's a very useful spell, and then following that up, I think I also saw a Lit Tree over in the Black Magic shop. That provides everything you basically need for a good Marsh Cave dive, especially because of those lizards you're going to have to take out.
Lithery is all well and good, but there's another hot spell in there that I'd be interested to see either run or take. Zap solves a lot of problems in the early game. It's time element, which means nothing outside of chaos resists it. The only problem is that its accuracy is not great, so if something has high MDef, it's going to be resisting it most of the time anyway.
But that's not usually something we're talking about in the early game, as it looks like Braxious is heading up to Temple of Fiends to try taking out
actually leading with Zap over Lightning 3. I don't believe Garland's MDef is that good, and as we see, first one sticks.
Quick, easy level for each of his characters. I know personally I probably would have gone with Lit 3. Looks like King is passing out the floater, and the Princess has the tail.
That floater is huge. That essentially means that all we're looking for is one more incentive item, and it can be either the ship or the canoe, and we're in the air.
Yeah, I know that the theme is Sail the High Seas, and we're like, no, it's okay. Why don't you just go get that airship instead?
Meanwhile, Len the Cat, making his TOF dive, gonna go investigate the chests.
Yeah, that's not something we saw Braxious do, but it looks like, nope, Braxious is heading off in the other direction, at least going to go watch the credits and do a quick save, but I'm assuming they're going to go off towards Matoya, check out Provoca, see what town is there since we have the town shuffle off.
Here's an interesting move I want to point out. Len the Cat dropped a cabin right outside TOF. He went up to the upper left treasure chests, got a pure and something else he didn't want, reset out, and then went to the bottom left chest, didn't see what he wanted there, reset out again, and is going for Garland. In the early game, when we're looking to dodge encounters, that's a very good play, but meanwhile, Braxious Muse checks Matoya, finds a loose TNT. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Old lady's holding on some high explosives there in her retirement stash.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you got to have some fun when you're retired.
What else are you gonna do? I'm just gonna sit here in my cave and occasionally set off fireworks.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's fine.
No, I do like that move, though, from Len of going in and checking the treasure chest. It's something that when I played this game in vanilla original, everything to do, you know, set up, save out somewhere, go in. If I see some treasure chests I don't like, skip it and reset to get my health, my spell charges, my encounter rate back to where I want it. But you can tell, as they say, veteran move right there. You can tell that's something that Len has practiced and knows what he's doing when he does something like that.
The early game is one of the places that I feel like a lot of runners could be doing things to save time, and utilizing cabins to the fullest is definitely top of the list of things you can do to cut time in the early game.
Oh, absolutely. When Corneria provides you with saving items so you can go and get to a place and save and reset over and over again, that's a lot of time you can save, where, you know, if you're not doing that, you're just wasting time resetting back to Corneria or grabbing things you don't need and losing spell charges you might want.
We see both of our runners heading east doing the Matoya check and doing the, I assume, the Provoca check after that. I gotta say, it's the conservative play, not the one that I would reach for, not starting the game with Lightning 3 and Harm 4 and Zap of all things.
Well, I agree with you in general. I mean, I do like the Provoca check when I'm doing it, but I'm, you know, still a Duckling player myself. Provoca can often have some really good spells in it, and, you know, getting that pirate item there is also useful. And when I'm on the way there, I drop a quick cabin or a tent and go hit Matoya, because it's not like she's that far out of the way, especially if you're not certain you're going to get, like, the crown or the crystal anytime soon.
Right, and at level 2, even imps are going to be sketchy at best, so the more
even
you
with
can...
that lit 3.
Yeah, the more you can avoid encounters in the early game, the better it's going to be if you're heading down a path that just kind of forks. You're able to go, you know, check one, reset, check the other, with a minimum of time spent dealing with encounters. Lendicat gets the bad news about Lupaville over in Provoca, resets, and is headed west.
And that's the thing to note for a setup like this with the Sail the High Seas flags, is that because you're not certain what the town may be, and you already have spells that are guaranteed to help you get through Marsh Cave quickly, maybe a quick pass by Elf before going to Marsh Cave is the better play than going over to a town that may not have anything for you and only has 3 treasure chests along the way.
Meanwhile, Braxious Muse looping back to Canaria with a couple corpses in his party. He lost those in a fight with Mad Ponies, but I didn't see what they did to him. I don't know if it was just straight power or they had a spell or something.
I didn't catch that either. I was paying attention to Len the Cat at that specific moment, but it does look like right now Braxious is uninterested in that White Mage despite the Harm 4. Gonna go with a three-person party for just a little while here, despite buying spells for them. Oh, that's probably for the rest.
I think what's going on Braxious Muse's side, Braxious Muse doesn't know if they want to commit to a dead White Mage or not, because Harm 4 is fine. Harm 4 is not going to get us anywhere in a lot of the dungeons in the game, including Topher.
Oh, so certainly not.
I think they're just looking for, Fade at this point, or maybe even Life.
Yeah,
that TNT turn-in will do for the ship.
Fades or Lives or anything like that, those are very useful for your White Mage when they can find them. But with the Red Mage in your party,
defense sword. Early defense sword in the upper chests.
That's lovely. That is absolutely lovely. But yeah, no, I mean the you're only going to hit certain packs of undead at certain times, and it's Ice Cave and Marsh Cave and parts of the original Temple of Fiends. And outside of that, if your White Mage doesn't have all the spells they want, you might not need to worry about them.
Len the Cat immediately sprinting for his boat. I assume he's only got one cabin. That's going to be a bit of a perilous journey if anything in the water is lethal. Let's see.
Doesn't look like he cares. He's heading off to Melman to see what that town is.
Well, we've already ticked Lefane off the list, so whatever it is, it's going to have an inn. So this is going to count as kind of a save point on our trip to get our airship. And
looks like
Crescent Isle.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Crescent Isle. I like.
That's kind of an island. It's surrounded on most sides by water. I think it counts.
Oh yeah. Crescent Peninsula.
Yeah.
Didn't look like anything much of value in the shops. Crescent Ruins.
Yeah.
Checking out
the park is being stingy today.
There it is.
Oh,
We got ourselves an herb.
They're hiding the herb. That's why they were hiding it. All right.
So it's worth pointing out, since they are giving out the herb, that our regular fetch quests have been broken up and the various items can be found just about anywhere at this point.
Ordinarily, I'm a big fan of turning in fetch quests whenever you get them, but when we have the airship in arm's reach, we gotta do that first. After that, we're probably going to turn in the herb, we're probably going to check Sarda. I wonder where we're going to be headed after that, because really, the world's kind of our oyster at this point.
Oh,
we
certainly.
We need the canoe. But we really need
Yeah, we do need that canoe. I mean, it's a possibility that herb becomes the canoe, but you don't want to go loop in there because you're going to have to... You can pop in on the south side of Elfland and hit it, but I think you're right to prioritize airship. Go back to Elfland afterwards when you can be doing more errands at the time, and then worry about it at that point.
Where is Braxious Muse going?
I think he's going the other way around. He's going the way I'd go, not knowing the map very well, and taking the long way to get over to the Rayakon Desert.
Oh,
not that it seemed to matter.
with Blaze.
Yep.
Ooh.
Spicy sharks on the water today. Get you some of that like spicy salmon on your rice balls there.
I think it's time to rethink that Melman check. We need no. We're heading south again. We're gonna roll the dice.
Committed to it.
I like it.
Looks like Len's found Onrak. I missed where that was. Was that? Oh, that was over in Crescent Lake area.
Yeah, Melman was Crescent Lake, wasn't it?
No,
Yeah.
Onrak is in Crescent Lake.
Right. Sorry. I have to say, sometimes these town shuffle, like if I run a town shuffle seed early enough in the morning, it's sometimes it just messes with me because the towns aren't right. Everyone's rebranding, everyone's remodeling. You don't know where anything is. Suddenly it's a toga party in Provoca. You don't know what's happening.
Some of them upgrade. Melbourne got a nice upgrade to its area. Now it has a real town in it with an inn and everything else. Looks like Life 2 is over at Provoca, which is, well, Crescent Provoca, which is, or wherever Provoca was. I missed where Provoca was.
Provoca was Gaia, and you always want to see a level 2 Life 2 because both of... If we get the tail, which we already have the tail, I should say, both of those fighters are going to be getting Life 2. That is huge. That
is a big deal for Len. That makes his party all the better. And he immediately takes out those landlocked pirates with a bit of lightning. Gets the crystal for it. I mean, he was really...
in the armor shop.
He was doing the pirates a favor. They couldn't get back to their ship. They were stuck in the mountains. What were they supposed to do?
Yeah. Sometimes pirates pick up... They get too ambitious with their pirate cave. They get so obsessed with walling it off from everything else that they forget that they can't get out.
Come on, boys, let's scale this mountain. Oh, there's just a town here. Well, I guess we're stuck here now. And it looks as though Elfland was Elfland.
That's one of the other things I love about Town Shuffle is that not only is it difficult to memorize what towns change, it's even worse trying to memorize what towns are the same.
Oh yeah, it screws with your head at a certain point. You're just like, what was that? What was I doing?
Mm-hmm.
But he is airborne now, and he is doing his Crescent on-rack check before hopefully heading off to see Gaia Provoca.
Alright, what do we got out of the herb? We got Oxyel. Fantastic.
Well,
it's time to find C.
We already know where on-rack is, so that Oxygale is well-timed.
Mm-hmm.
Does kind of seem like the game is gently pointing you in that direction.
Yeah, I'd go for that, but I would definitely, with this party, want to get that class change out of the way first, and I believe that's the general direction. No, Lendicat's headed for a crystal turn-in. That's what we're doing right now. But
he's doing what we were talking about earlier, going and doing all your errands at once while you have the route, so you can just get it all, and getting that canoe, so now Waterfall is open as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of areas that he can go explore that just suddenly all came up at once.
But not heading north to do the tail turn-in, that's interesting. Braxious Muse is taking a grind in the Crescent Lake area.
He must have seen some items that he wanted to buy or something, well, or not.
Or not. We're already leaving. Alright.
Yep. Len's getting the free item from over at Sarda, which is the... Hey, he had the ruby there the whole time. It's an easy fix.
You know, the number of seeds I've seen where Sarda is being a jerk and holding the Titan's food and keeping it from him, I'm starting to have a real change of heart about Sarda.
Sarda's the bad guy, and now the Titan's our hero.
And what is our hero holding? An ogre encounter.
Oh, I've already seen at least one race in this tournament where the ruby was required, so it's possible to get this check out of the way now.
You got a heal, $15, an opal shield, and a silver bracelet.
I mean, silver bracelet and opal shield aren't bad. Then when you have the ability to upgrade your fighter immediately, that opal shield is full time.
Sure, I can get behind walking this out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not what you wanted to see there. You want to see a key item so you don't have to search around as much, but still not.
Right.
Because we're down to just one key item still floating since Victoria had the TNT, I believe.
Yeah, we are down to one key item to the best of our knowledge at present.
And the key item could be among all the various fetch turn-ins. There's also Ribbon is on the list, and what else?
Ribbon's on the list. What are we missing right now that we really, really want? We're missing loot, we're missing ribbon, we're missing chime, I believe.
Of the key items that aren't obvious, I mean, the tail is on the list of incentivized items that aren't quest, and then it looks like ribbon is the only other one. So unless we suddenly find a bunch of ribbons, I think we'll be able to figure out what our other key item is. And of course, as you said, Len immediately going and doing that quick turn-in so he can get his life 2s and start using all that gear he's starting to find.
Getting a lot of the errands done out of the way.
It's a good call.
Only level 4, 14 minutes in. That's a little concerning. We're going to be wanting to fix that, but we're in a great area to fix it in.
Absolutely.
Pepper encounters around here. You just pepper them with a couple lightning 3s, and suddenly we've gained 4 levels.
Yep, certainly. I mean, that's the one nice thing about being able to get to high-level areas with a low-level party is those your low-level party doesn't remain low-level for very long.
2 out of the 3 treasure dragon islands down, and we found nothing really to write home about.
Not much, no. Does look like Brexus did pick up his herb, though, so he's good to do his errands whenever he gets around to it. He's doing his cardia checks as well, so he'll get them out of the way, but so far the class change was the most important part of the title change.
Len the Cat saving in the air before he digs this out. I think Len the Cat is also recognizing that this might not be the most profitable expedition he's ever been on. We've got Nopal Gauntlet and like, I don't know, $66. That's, what do we got in here?
The 6,500 gold chest wasn't so bad, but that flame armor and an ice shield, that...
Oh, there we go. Never mind. Dragon's keeping all the good stuff in a single room. We got Mazza, we got flame armor, we got ice shield. Alright, we're carrying that out.
There was clearly one alpha dragon. They knew what their horde was going to be. They were going to sleep on, and all the other dragons could just,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, there's a couple decent treasure chests there. That 12,000 gold isn't going to be, too hurtful. You're going to appreciate that when you're going to buy your spells. But yeah, that last treasure set.
Speaking of buying spells, Len the Cat immediately back in Provoca. He wants life 2 on those knights pronto.
Certainly. I mean, you can't use them yet because they're not high enough level, but the life 2s are going to come in very handy. And that's the nice thing about level 2 is, if I believe, all the spells at level 2 are castable by the knight, so he didn't even have to worry about which spot they were in or anything. Go and buy it and be assured that he's going to be able to...
Correct. Level 2 is the easiest white magic level. Everybody gets everything. It's only every other level you have to worry about.
Which is what makes life 2 at that level so sweet. Yeah, so Braxus, when he goes over there, he'll be able to get 2 of his party members to have life 2, but Len definitely has a bit of an edge there with 3 different party members that are going to be able to use that.
Len finally equipping his opal shield. We had some concern in chat about that. Glad we've corrected the issue. Where do we go after this? So we got to do a shopping trip after our class change, because we just need life 2 as early as we can. That way it makes even the most dangerous dungeons just that much easier.
And
but once we're done shopping, where are we going?
I was going to say, considering the fact that you have life 2, if it was me, I mean, I'm not the best player, but if it was me, I would probably go with the risky play for the levels that I'm at, and I would probably head immediately over to the waterfall, get that out of the way, because you know there's a key item there, and you already have the canoe. Game's kind of saying, hey, maybe get something here. Well, then the cat picks up his nuke. Certainly not arguing with that move either. But yeah, you know there's a key item. Yeah. You know there's a key item in the waterfall, and if it was me, I'd want to get as many of my key items out of the way now so I can tell whether or not I'm in go mode.
I agree with that play. However, I think I would be headed to Ordeals at this point. Ordeals is my go-to spot for trying to pick up levels in the early game, and both of our runners have kind of a problem with their levels at the moment. I would want to shore that up before I tried any more challenging, like Waterfall or a Fiend Dungeon.
Have we seen Exit or Warp yet?
Oh, I believe... Did we see Exit? I could swear we saw Exit somewhere.
I'm sure chat can tell us, but I don't recall seeing it. If we don't have Exit or Warp, then I like your play better. Because, yeah, Ordeals is a lot easier to get out of.
Chat reminding us that Warp was level 2. That puts Ice on the table, I think.
Perfect.
But we're headed to Marsh. That's interesting.
Well, look at the tags. Marsh Cave is incentivized, so he may eventually want to go and hit that wizard chest and see what's there to get his game out. He's not doing what we said, he's just doing a different one.
I think if I'm looking to skip a dungeon, Ice is probably the dungeon I'm looking to skip if possible. So based on that theory, if we can assume that there might be one key item left that we don't actually need, Marsh is an okay play, but I'm raising both of my eyebrows at it. Let me just put it that way.
Well, as we did mention earlier, they at least have Harm 4 and they have Lit 3, so it's not the worst thing, because Marsh's levels are bad. Ice Cave or something else like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I would totally avoid Ice Cave until I absolutely have to go there.
Let's see, top floor we got $3. We got...
Ooh, a whole $3?
Yeah, $23. All right, now it went...
2,307 gold. I think that's combined. 2,310 gold. These bring out the Harm 4s. It's the perfect party for it.
Nah. Nothing in Marsh gives experience. We could be doing better stuff elsewhere. Let's just
yeah, absolutely. My problem with Marsh Cave is it always feels like I have problems running from everything no matter how good my party is.
That's true. Especially when run chance really only kind of stabilizes around level 10, so if we're hovering around the 6 mark, then yeah, we're probably going to have problems running.
I tend to just blast everything for the first little while, just to get it out of the way, because, again, levels aren't that hard to get right now, and every little bit counts. And at a certain point, start risking the run again.
Right, we need to be able to survive wherever we're going, and the early airship means that we want to be going to the good places and not the convenient places. We got $4 and some cloth. Yep, we're resetting out of that.
Braxis is heading to one of the good places. They're checking out Volcano right now, which is a play I like, especially with the arsenal that's right there. That big armory that you can go raid and get a bunch of stuff. It's a good section of items, and I usually see something good there when I run in that place.
Warp also makes it so that you can get out of the armory just as quick. I believe Braxis is looking for that loose item. Just check that last loose item off the list, and then we know what we're doing. So, if we're just focusing on easy chest density, Volcano's the place you go. Alright, what do we got in bottom floor in Marsh? It's gotta be something good.
I mean, looking at the list right now, there's a few key items we certainly don't need. You're gonna need the chime, you're gonna need the cube. We already got Oxyel out of the way, and we're gonna need the rod. And the loot, looks like. But there's some other stuff in there that may not lead to anything. Because it's loose doesn't mean it's actually good.
Right. There is every possibility that we end up with just a loose ribbon.
Or a loose slab that just leads to nothing.
Got us a vendor sword. Always like that.
Was it the Vorpal?
No, the katana.
Oh, yeah, that's totally useless to us this round. Just hanging on your wall and call it decoration because it's not doing anything else for you right now.
Sure, hand it to the Black Mage, make it feel like he's participating, you know.
Find a chain, make yourself some sword chucks. It's about as useful as it is right now.
Meanwhile, in Marsh, Len the Cat getting rocked by poison damage on Scums. That's not a thing you want to see, especially with no ribbons. But we're heading back in because we really want to know what that wizard chest is.
Chad is apparently not pleased with me throwing shade at the Vorpal sword.
It's the usual suspects. You can ignore them. It's fine.
Hey guys, I will use the Vorpal when I don't have anything else of the equivalent level to use, but they have a Mazmood. In my opinion, we don't need that Vorpal.
I will actually make the argument that Len the Cat could get usage out of a Vorpal right now. With Double Fighter, we can literally have our cake and eat it too. We can have the Mazza Knight and the Vorpal Knight. We can cover all our bases.
That is fair. That is absolutely fair. Chat letting us know we have unrunnable Scums showing up, so that's fun to try and use in the March cave.
And in our wizard chest, we got the crown.
Well,
is this
nice.
even randomized?
Is Ordeals actually open to us without that crown?
It is, actually. For the purposes of the Swiss flag set, we can get the Circle of Sages without Lich, we can get into Ordeals without the crown, and we can get to Sarda without killing the vampire. All wonderful, wonderful quality of life fixes.
So the crown is simply just a continuation of a fetch quest. Go to Astos, see what he has, see if it's anything worthwhile.
Correct. Len the Cat deciding to warp out. I got to assume we're turning that crown in. Yep, we're headed north. There we go.
So that's the play I'd make. You're right there. There's no reason not to.
Meanwhile, Bractious Muse having a rough time with Paralisks.
Yeah, well, they're
creaming.
Crematalisks, specifically.
That sounds like a breakfast cereal. I don't know why.
Breakfast cereal?
So here's the Astos fight, but we got... Oh!
There's a loose ribbon.
Astos has got a lot of dodge on him, and a lot of absorb, but we still made it through.
Did you see what he gave when they attacked him?
He got the cube.
Nice.
So now
nice.
we just need a chime and we can get in.
There was a ribbon in one of the leftmost chests of the armory. That could be our loose ribbon. It's hard to tell right now.
Whatever it is, it's going to solve our cremate problems, which is exactly what we need in here.
And apparently there was a second katana in there, so we know where both katanas are, not that we can use them.
Meanwhile, Len the Cat picking an alternate landing spot for his trip to Onrak. I kind of like it. It feels... I don't want to say... I hesitate to use the word edgy. Maybe just scenic?
I've seen people use that before. I don't know if it's up for debate whether or not it's faster or not. Because do the swamp tiles have a higher encounter rate, or are they just decorative?
I believe they're just decorative. I'm sure someone can correct me on that. So, we've got Gaia in Onrak. I believe... the last town we haven't been to is Lefane. Have we seen Melmond yet? I don't think we have.
I don't believe we've seen Melmond so far. Chad is pointing out that the katanas are max price, so if you can find both of them in the volcano... Yeah, that's a goodly chunk of there to carry you through the game.
And the gold bracelets were only 11,000, so one katana is worth what? Almost 3 gold bracelets? That's some value.
Yeah. Sorry, Black Wizard, you don't get to hang this on your wall. We need it.
It's a fire sale. Everything must go.
Brack's just going and picking up the Brack spells, so that's nice.
Big fan
Get
of Brack.
your memes out.
To heck with the memes. I'm a big fan of Brack on Kraken 1 and Tiamat 1.
It's absolutely useful there. I was watching a stream from YouTube earlier that, a redo VOD, and they were talking about the fact that at a certain point, just because of how hard Kraken hits, you're better off just going in and immediately trying to lay waste to him with Kraken than doing anything else.
I'm a big fan of that strategy.
Yeah, because you got to think, it's going to take you how many rounds to kill Kraken, especially if his dodge or his defense is up, whereas if you just get one lucky Brack, you're over in a single turn.
Well, we've scaled bosses to 220%, so my napkin math, based on these parties, based on the fact that we already have Mazza, let's call it somewhere between 2 and, I don't know, 9 rounds. That's a big window.
That is a huge window, whereas if you have enough rack charges, you definitely are going to get them down, and because it's what, like 33% on Kraken 1 and Tiamat 1 or something?
23, 26? One of those.
Okay, so you're guaranteed, if you're having just one caster charging, you're doing it in 4 rounds, but just by basic fuzzy math, which we shouldn't be doing on Twitch.
No,
and then, but if you have 2 casters doing it, you're probably going to get him down in 2 rounds, and the math on that is just much better.
Right.
So
That's one of the reasons I prefer Fighter Rainbow here over Double Fighter, but Double Fighter's got a lot going for it as well.
This particular seed he does, as Len is apparently doing the play I would have done and going through Waterfall. He's, of course, doing it. Well, yeah. He's doing it with a party that's better equipped than I would have been if I'd gone in, so... Oh, I think I saw Out of Bounds Bat.
Yay, Out of Bounds Bat. He needs all the recognition he can get. He lives a hard life.
He's the best bat.
Nameless, formless void, just flapping around.
Six comes by to say hi once in a while. Braxus isn't going through and doing the March cave, which we already saw Len do earlier, so we know what he's going to find, which is that crown, and really not much else there.
Also, the unfortunate bat blockade on the left side. Not a thing you want to see in a dungeon where we're trying to dodge lethal scums.
Yeah, but I don't think I would have done what he did. I wouldn't have gone around. I would have just forced the bat to get out of my way one way or another.
Alright, what do we got from our robot friend? The Rod. Fantastic. Thank you.
So that leaves Loot and Chime at this point that we need?
I believe you're correct. And we've still got Ordeals to hit, and our 1 loose.
If it wasn't that ribbon.
If it wasn't that ribbon. Oh, chat reminding us, I don't think we have key either.
You are correct. Thank you, chat.
I was so obsessed with skipping Ice Cave that I just kind of memory hold it. So we have our options of Ice, Ordeals, and Loose, and we're looking for loot key, possibly a ribbon, and Chime.
And Chime. So that's 3 to 4 items that you're going to be looking for. There's still a good possibility that any of the items that, or any of the fetch quest items you might find are going to lead to something good. Now, I do also want to note, though, that while Go Mode is only 2 or 3 or so items away, you do get a benefit of finding 12 key items or more as a 150% experience. So even if you do find fetch quest items that don't go anywhere, it's not entirely to your detriment.
Here's a question I've got. We've been in the seed for a while. We've been around half an hour in. Have we found vendor item?
Not that I recall. I mean, they are going quick, and we have 2 screens to watch, but whilst they've been going through towns, I haven't seen vendor item, although, of course, chat will correct us. Oh, they're confirming that we have not.
I've not seen vendor item either, and I do not believe anyone has made a desert vendor check.
No, they certainly have not done that. I haven't seen them fly over. Although, we still have yet to find Melmond, right?
True, but Melmond doesn't have an item shop.
Then it's going to be the Caravan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a possibility they one or both of them skipped the item shop and we missed it, but...
Alright, fans of Monotone, today is your moment. Len the Cat enters Castle of Ordeals.
Let's get that one note over and over again.
I always have to laugh at it. I don't know why. It's just funny to me that the entire theme of the first floor of Castle of Ordeals is just,
it's the first floor remix of the track.
Right.
Does Lifen have a item shop in it? I don't recall it having one.
It does not have an item shop, but eventually when we get the slab, we can find out what Toga Party has on offer.
Yeah. Of course, remember to translate your slab, everyone. I always forget to do that, and it bites me every time. I go and I land at that pretty little lake over there at the top. I start to walk and I go, crap.
I never miss anything. I certainly never miss the Mystic Key, specifically.
Once had to get there to that one room in Topher, and you're like, oh, what's this? This door is locked.
There definitely isn't a clip of that anywhere, I can assure you.
So Len finally makes it through the remix track and gets up to the second floor of Ordeals.
Taking a man-cat fight, I did not see if these were unrunnable or not, but man-cats are one of the worst things to take on. They resist all elemental magic you can be throwing at them.
They are runnable. It looks like he just didn't want to deal with them.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we're desperate enough for levels. Yeah, we're around the 11 mark.
That's pretty low still. And there's, what, a zombie dragon up here that they're going to have to take care of? That he may just want the extra levels for that.
Correct. Zombie Dragon is definitely one of the good tiles to attempt to grind on, I think. If you get lucky, they're low enough that you can take down in one round, even with just Lightning 3. And they're really good experience.
Gargoyles are giving Len the business right now. Looks like they either have a stun spell or stun touch, and two of his party members are like waiting to be able to act.
I'm pretty sure it's stun touch. Yeah, it's stun touch. Gargoyles usually have somewhere between 2 and 5 or 6 hits. So if there's a touch attack on them, if you aren't a high level, it's almost guaranteed to land.
While we've been watching this, though, it looks like he's slowly suffering trying to get out of the Marsh Cave that he's in, down to just his Red Mage, and while the shadows are runnable, they don't seem to want to let him get away.
I'm really rooting for this Red Mage here.
Well, it looks like he has him fairly well equipped, so the shadows aren't doing that much damage to him.
I can only assume we're out of life 2 by this point.
Yeah, because I think he went to Elfland, so he should have bought it at that point.
Red Mage is completely out of magic. We've got houses, we're not using them. I guess we're headed to a town? There we go.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
I saw him swinging the Masmoon, so...
Well, the cat has the Adamant. Zombie Dragon miss, Zombie Dragon low damage. Alright, let's test this out.
Chad is confirming that Brax does not have Life 2 on his Red Mage, so even if he had the magic for it, he couldn't have cast it.
That's 1 roundable dragons, I believe.
Yeah, they were going down pretty quick.
We could just... nope, we can just leave.
We can just get out of there. Who cares about zombie dragons?
I don't know.
I think I would have stuck around and burned a few, especially since my Masmoon's taken them out. That would have been an easy grind spot.
I think I would have just dumped my magic charges and left. I think that's... yeah. So, Braxis Muse doing the crown play, getting his happy box.
Yep. Yeah, I think in that particular instance, I probably would have done 4 or 5 rounds in Zombie Dragons. I don't know if I would have stuck around much past that, but get a few quick levels so that I'm ready to go for whatever's next, because that opens up the levels to go check out Ice Cave or one of the other places that has a key item.
Mm-hmm. So where is Len the Cat going? We're headed south? We're headed west. Did we hit Waterfall? We hit Ordeals.
We're getting a lovely tour of the ocean.
We're turning in the Adamant. That's what we're doing. We gotta find out what's going on.
Let's hope for the key.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I'd be happy.
Key would have been nice just because he could have checked the treasury here and getting that out of the way as well, but time is nice. One less thing to worry about.
Mm-hmm. We got Oxio, we got Rod, we got Chime Cube. Where are we headed? We're headed ice? We're headed ice.
Yeah, because you still have a key or loot to find, and if... Well, he doesn't... I don't think he's been to Volcano, so he doesn't know about that ribbon yet.
We're not headed ice. Braxis Muse is going to capitalize on this. He's going to make it through ice first, see what's inside.
I think he's just messing with us. Len's just, like, going everywhere. It's like, what could I get the commentators to say this time? What about now?
You know, I've thought
Play
about
the
doing
guessing
that in
game
some of
with
my matches. But usually when that happens is because I've messed up, so I try not to do it. Brax's Muse making the loop into the eye room.
If I had to guess, I think Len realized he probably needed some more items so he could take on an Ice Cave safely, and he went to do that first after almost stopping there.
Helmet,
okay, now we have our
ribbon. Oh, Ice Cave was skippable the whole time.
True, but I'm never going to complain about a ribbon. And I mean, he found that ribbon really early. He could, yeah, it's a great ribbon. It was quick for him to get. Only had to really charge through what 2.5 floors to get to it, and then warp out immediately and be done with it. I don't know if I'd explore the rest of the area though.
Brax's Muse is considering his options. He's staring at his inventory screen. He's trying to figure out if he has the horsepower to make it through. I put it at 50-50, honestly.
Well, especially if he gets dumped by this 7 monster tile when he gets down there.
I mean, we've got magic, but we don't really have durability. That's our problem here.
No, and to note, the Arm Forecaster is still tasting dirt right now.
I have to believe that leaving the White Mage face down was a decision that we wanted to make from the outset. It's been down long enough. It's still level 2, although the rest of the party's level 8. I have to believe that the strategy here was 3-man no matter what.
Well, I mean, I know when I used to play this game vanilla on the NES, I always wanted to make sure I had all 4 of my party members up. But coming into the randomizer community, seeing the 2 or 3-man strategies where the experience gets boosted, I am on board with that strategy, and I know a lot of runners in this particular round of the tournament, the Swiss round, have been on board with killing off their White Mage and just leaving them down for a while. So I can see the thought process behind it. I just don't know if in this particular seed, if I would have done it.
No, the problem with absolute strategies like that is that in scenarios like this, where we have Life 2 available at level 2, and who knows what else available at lower levels, then suddenly what would have been just kind of an anchor on your party actually would have been a fully functioning member that we've robbed ourselves out of because we just have the blinders on that, no, we gotta do 3-man no matter what. Meanwhile, Ratchus Muse, I believe that was a stone touch from either Frost Giants or Frost Wolves. I
believe so. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I think if I was going to run free party in this particular instance, I might eye more towards the Black Mage in this one instead of the White Mage. Keep the White Mage up. They're super useful with the first 2 magic levels being hit hard, but sure, Black Mage has nuke, but that's not beyond the possibility of the Red Wizard, Red Mage getting that, and then at least you have nuke charges and way more life too.
Ratchet's Muse trying to make yet another hero run with his Red Mage, headed for the room of 6 chests.
You know, I can't really blame him. That Red Mage has been coming through left and right. Obviously, he's the MVP of this match.
I think we're really banking on fine. Nope, we're going to reset.
Poor Red Mage.
We couldn't make it out of that fight.
I was rooting for him.
Alright, take 2. Better than the first.
Well, Len is in that same room now, so we'll see if Len has better luck.
$188, $7 a heal potion, $38, pure potion, and a Frostwolf encounter. That's guarding $8. I mean, it's okay gold haul, I guess.
It's tent money right there.
Yeah. We're going to round out Ice Cave in just a moment on Len the Cat's side. If there's anything loose in the top, then this will be worthwhile. Otherwise, this will be a time sink, I think, for both runners.
Oh, absolutely. But not that they know it, but they're both doing the same time sink, so they're going to come out as a wash on this one.
We got $1. And we got $71. Fighter already turned to stone again. I have to assume it's the Frost Giants doing that because I haven't seen the Frost Wolves do it.
And I think I've seen the both parties get surprise attacked by those red bones a few times. I'm thinking they have a high ambush.
So Ice Cave's a bust. I mean, we got the ribbon, but, you know, that's not what we wanted here.
And you could have gotten that and exited out and not worried at all about it, so, yeah. Now, Len is going into Volcano, so if he does the same path that Braxis does at all, then he'll have all 3 of his ribbons.
That's always a warm and fuzzy feeling to have all 3 of your ribbons.
Oh, absolutely. And then at that point, you're like, okay, do I keep all 4 of my guys alive, or do I finally start deciding to Dan some?
I think the time to Dan was 30 minutes ago. Much to Braxis Muse's credit, they're at least sticking with the 3-man strategy against what I consider to be sense and reason, but I think they're doing... I think they're going to make good work out of this, because sure, we don't have the white mage and all the trimmings that come with it, but we are going to be getting more experience on those 3 that are alive. So where Len may have to take a grind later, I'm not so sure that Braxis Muse will have to.
Okay, I'm being corrected by chat right now. The ribbon that Len has may only be the one that he picked up over at Ice Cave. That may have been the fault of mine or the fault of whoever. I'll take the blame for it. I'm fine with that. But this is going to put Len up to 2, so they each have 2.
I mean, to me, this is just another lesson of don't do math on Twitch. Like, we tried counting the 3, and we couldn't even do that.
3 is hard. That requires a finger and... What is it from Discworld? 1, 2, many?
Len the Cat continuing their assault on Volcano Armory. Meanwhile, Braxis Muse is headed somewhere.
Back to Crescent on Wreck.
Oh,
this looks like at least some magic check, but no, he's going for actual water.
We're headed to Sea Shrine.
Ocean Palace.
Water cave. We're trying to dig up that loose item. Mermaids is as good a place as any, I think.
And what is it with every water cave in every game being kind of obnoxious?
That's an excellent question, and it's also a universal truth.
It absolutely is. I mean, this isn't the worst dungeon in this game, but because of the split in the middle of it, it is a little obnoxious.
Right. I'm a big fan of not skipping any chests where possible. But having said that, there are 2 chests that I usually end up skipping in C, and that's the backwards sea room chest and the chest that's north of that. The first, usually because I'm here without the key. The second, because it's just so far out of the way.
Oh yeah, and I mean, looking at the key items they have right now, I mean, I think they have the time and the cube correct.
Braxis losing even more of their party. I did not see if that was damage or death touch.
I didn't catch it. I just know that as long as they have that red wizard up, they're good, so...
Based on the power of that Gershark, I think it might have been damage.
Yeah, well, they can pack a punch if they get scaled up just right. But yeah, I don't know that I'd come here. The fact that I think they have the chime and the cube, I would probably have gone to Air Palace instead. The treasure chest density is better. There's a lot of them front load that you can easily get to, and the monsters there are great for experience.
No, I agree. I'm a big fan of the all-in sky play. Having said that, you can get a lot of chests out of mermaids with no encounters mucking up travel.
Oh yeah. But that first floor there, I mean, it's very easy to get into a Chimera fight or something else. Just power up a few times, find the Chimeras. They're decent experience for the level they're at. And with those easy chests right there on the first floor, it's a quick one to get the levels going, then go back out, throw a house down, get back in, and start really exploring it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with 2 ribbons.
Question in chat from Crab Cakes. Have we found any loose yet? We did. We found loose TNT in Matoya, of all places. But we're still on the hunt for that second one. And we've already found Incentive Ribbon. So we know we're looking for the other loose.
An incentive key item of something.
Meanwhile, paging Wout, in Mermaids, we have found the Sun Sword.
I mean, it's not quite as useful as it could be if they didn't have a better sword, but throw that on your second fighter for right now until you get something better. It's a good weapon.
It's definitely a solid red mage weapon.
Right, Braxis got it, so it's the red mage that gets it. His powerhouse red mage.
Mm-hmm. His surviving against all odds in all situations red mage. That red mage is the MVP of Braxis' run right now.
Absolutely. Red mage is looking at this. We're not allowed to have a thief. You know what? I will step up for this then.
Meanwhile, Len the Cat has a black mage at 1 hit point, and we're not stopping the heal. I gotta think we've run out of drinks. Or we're banking on Life 2, which is the most effective healing spell in the game. It heals 1 more hit point than Cure 4.
It is. My only downside of that saying is the fact that you can't use it in battle.
Semantics. It's effective. That's all you need to know about it.
Now, we did find the, no, we found the katanas, didn't we? We haven't found Vorpal.
There's the loot for sale at Caravan. We just need to track down that key. I believe that means the key is loose.
I'm trying to think if there's any other incentive places to go at this point. I don't think there are.
Well, hang on. Technically, I believe Lefane is still on the table, which means our loose item is going to be a slab that leads to a key.
Ah, there you go. That's what it is right there. Yes. Perfect. So we actually know what it is. Just gotta find it. Yeah, checking the list of seed flags right now. We've checked all the incentivized areas. So it's just the finding those last 2 now.
Both characters now heading into Volcano, but Len the Cat has a 7 floor advantage. Braxis Muse is catching up very quickly.
Well, but also remember that Braxis has already checked that top treasury floor, so it's at least one less thing he has to worry about.
True, but we do have to check all the chests on the Agama floor. We've got to worry about the red D chest that Len the Cat's on right now.
So Braxis just went into C to check the mermaid section and then bailed?
That's interesting. I don't know that I agree with that.
I wouldn't have double dipped. The mermaids have a great chest density, but that's a lot of time you're spending getting in and getting out just to not actually finish.
Right. No, I prefer never double dip if you can help it. If we're checking mermaids, we're killing Kraken. If we're checking Volcano Armory, we're killing Carrie. It saves a lot of travel time in the long run.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Sorry, I agree with all of that.
Meanwhile, Len the Cat having a heck of a time fighting his way through this encounter table just to get to Carrie. That black mage still at 1 hit point. Gonna try and carry a 1 hit point black mage through carry 1, probably.
Or just put him at the front of the party afterwards and let him get meat shielded.
No, we're gonna heal
him. Oh.
You can't have him at full hit points, it ruins the fun of it. Leading off with Swing Swing, Invis 2, and Nuke. Carry 1 frequently having a lot of heft in those swings. So I kind of like the Invis 2 play if we don't have a fade to lean on. But 1 round and blam dead.
Didn't seem like she had much of health at all. Very papery carry 1 right there. Came in with a quick Ice 2 and then fell right down.
Braxis Muse continuing to loot Agama floor. Oh, our Hydras are unrunnable. With Poison Touch. That isn't really dangerous, it's more just kind of annoying.
It's ugly, but not the way that you really get too mad.
Yeah. Len the Cat making the Oasis check, picking up his fancy banjo.
Looks like he's checking his items to see what it is that he's still missing, and it should just be the key at this point. Well, key and slab, right?
Right, it should be slab leading to key, I believe.
Yes. Tracker only has so many spots, so I'm looking at going, they have everything split up. No, not yet.
Lendicat spending a lot of time looking at his inventory. I think he's trying to figure out, do I have everything? Do I not have everything? Am I go mode? Am I not go mode? What's going on here?
He wants to get to that go mode while he takes his steak and wings platter here.
Oh, rave steaks.
Tyro's like, do you want to listen to my mixtape? Come on! Although I gotta tell you, considering how bad the Tyro can hit, sometimes a mixtape Tyro is not the worst thing you can find.
Yeah, but Trance gets through those ribbons, so it'll be annoying.
Annoying, but the meat is oh so tasty. And there are those chimeras I was talking about. So Len is essentially doing the play that I would have done, considering the key items.
Shoutouts to Spells App in chat for DJ Shorty Arms. I think that's going to be my new nickname for Tyro from now on.
I love it. That is great.
Opal Bracelet.
Ooh, that is pretty.
First floor of Mirage.
Sky paying off already.
Meanwhile, Braxis Muse is healing up. If I recall correctly, they're in the Agama room. I wonder if we're seeing a mini Agama grind here to try and pad out some levels.
Does appear to be the case.
Looks like kind of a squishy Agama as well. I believe that's one roundable. It should be. With
yeah, it doesn't look like he's having much problems at all.
Maybe not quite.
No, that's a 2-rounder right there.
As soon as we get another hit on that Mazza, we'll be fine.
Yeah. I think it may have just been a very weak first-round hit from the Mazza.
Meanwhile, greater than less than room, we had $110, $30, $6, a Mage Staff, $71.
Mage Staff would have been a lot nicer if we weren't already going into the sky and the ocean at this point.
True, but without access to Fade, that Mage Staff is a good enough standard offense, I think, on that White Mage for right now.
That's fair. And down the road, if he decides to go for, like, a Gur Medusa grind in Topher or something like that, it can come in handy.
Meanwhile, around $100 and a Dragon Sword on the right side. Still not that loose item that we're looking for. Braxis Muse continuing the Agama grind. I wonder what level we have in mind on this. I wonder if this is wanting to patch up our dodgy levels to this point, or if it's fear of carry 1 that's driving this.
Could be a bit of both. What is it? 24 is a good spot for your fighter to be at with a Mazzaman?
Fighter with the Mazza at 24 is where they get their 5th hit, so that's the ultimate goal of the night. But I think it's a little early to try and grind all the way to that. We've still got Sea on the table. We've still got Sky on the table. Those are 2 dungeons that are really, really good for levels. So we don't necessarily have to go nuts here. There we go. 4 hits, 484. Boom goes the Agama.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I think I would definitely focus more on just, hitting the dungeons and trying to get items out of the way right now. There's still plenty to explore, although, at this point, what are we down to? The rest of Sky Tower and then half of Thief?
Also Earth.
Ah, right.
Everybody
Who wants to go
Earth.
do Earth? You don't want to do Earth right now. You want to save that for last.
Yeah, never do Earth. No one likes Earth. The chests are way too spread out. It's too long.
It takes way too long to go in there, and
it has a speed bump in the middle and the end.
Yes, but we have seen that the vampires themselves are not all that difficult at all, because Len the Cat is just wiping the floor with them here in Skype.
Vampires are an excellent source of experience. So if we're looking to pad out levels, those are the fights you take. Chat pointing out that Cocktreeces had Death Touch. Happy we dodged that in Ice Cave as well as Waterfall so far. Kind of lucky to get all the way here before we saw it.
Yeah, they show up in that pack with the mummy, don't they?
They do. So in the Wiz Mummy pack, there's Wiz Mummies, there's Mummies, there's Paralisks, and there's Cocktreeces.
And we already knew the
Paralisks
Paralisks
are the last on the list of spawn.
Mm-hmm.
They're the least likely to show up.
Yeah, but we already knew the Paralisks also had something nasty. That was, what, Scorch or...
Well, they had Cremate, but
Cremate.
At this level, Cremate is no longer a lethal problem. It's now just kind of a mild annoyance.
Especially with those 2 ribbons that he has.
Mm-hmm. Skipping on the blue D, I don't know. I kind of agree with that, because if a blue D rolls like 1,000 hit points, you're going to be there for like 4 rounds, but I like testing it just in case.
They can get pretty beefy. This floor takes so long to explore that Len the Cat is on. It's just, this one in the spider room above, you just really want a lot of warp charges, because otherwise it takes forever.
Going into Sky, how many warp charges are best? I would say 1, 2, 3... 3 warp charges, because we clear left side of spider room, warp back up to the top, clear right side. And then we get up to the 3rd floor, clear right side, warp, clear top, warp, and then grab the 4 greed chests and go. I think that's the minimum we can get away with.
Your answer is way more technically accurate than mine. I was just going to say all of them.
Well, if warp's level 2, then we're fighting with life 2 charges, and there's only so much of warp that I'm willing to tolerate if we're dumping life 2 to do it.
You're not dumping life 2 because warp is on the black mage.
Oh, that's right. Len the Cat doesn't have a red mage.
No, he's fine to dump all his warp charges if he wants to.
Yeah, sure. Let's warp everywhere. Go for it. Taking a Manticore fight. Manticores are also a good source of experience for effort. They generally fall over to Ice 3 or Lightning 3 or the 2.
Yeah, it looked like they were going down pretty good with what he had. I mean, it seems like one of his fighters right now is swinging the defense sword, and they weren't standing up to that.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Braxis Muse headed into the Red D room. He's been dealing with a lot of unrunnable bull encounters. I hate when the encounter table gets in my way in a dungeon that I should be just sailing through.
You don't notice how common those bulls are until you get them as unrunnable and have to fight every pack you see.
Mm-hmm.
Chat is pointing out that Len was probably using his Warp 2 charges on Fire instead. Fire 3, I think it was. So he may not have that many left.
Fire 3 is a great use of spells in here as well, because the Manticores will fall over to it. If we find vampires or whiz vampires, it'll be great for them. It's not going to do well against Chimeras, or Badmen, or Rock Galls, now that we see them. But
ooh, and they pack a punch.
Ooh.
That was 122 on his knight, I believe.
Rock Galls are good experience, but if you want to AoE them down, you need Nuke, Fade, maybe Zap.
Oh no.
Meanwhile,
Gurnaga had a mixtape.
Yeah, Rave Gurnagas. Everyone's getting their mixtapes out today.
That might be on the Medusa script, and that's not what you want to see. Sky Tower Dance Party.
Alright, Braxis Muse rounded the corner, getting ready to take on the Fiend of Fire, carry 1.
This is going to put Braxis, what, probably about 5 or 6 minutes behind Len at this point, I would say?
I think that's a good estimate, but I want to say Braxis Muse's levels are higher. We're still only swinging 4 hits with that Mazza for only 87 damage, but that nuke just cleans her out. Level 19, okay, that's where we are.
Yeah, she was definitely paper, because I think I saw that with Len, it was the nuke that took her down there. She couldn't have had more than 300 hits.
No. Level 19 is a little higher than I think we want to be right now, and we're looping back to Ice Cave. Are we going to be doing an eye grind, of all things, right now?
I don't know that I agree with this. You still have Sky to go through, and if you're that hurt up for levels, just go to Sky.
Yeah. I have to imagine that this is a concern that we might be feeling behind right now, so all we can do right now is bank on Topher being just a concrete wall. So we need to do the grind now, so that by the time we hit Topher, we can maybe break through whatever impassable barrier is there.
Certainly, certainly. It feels like there are better places to grind instead of having to walk yourself down 4 floors to get over to the eye.
No, I'd agree with that.
I will note that Len saw another pack of the Gurnaga with air and immediately ran from it because he just didn't want to deal with the trance.
No. Trance is so annoying. Ribbon doesn't block it, and sometimes the RNG is against you, and even if you're in, mid-20s, it still gets 3 ERM death. It's just ugh.
It is. And to note, Sky Tower is already proving me wrong, but shade I threw at Mage Staff by giving Len a pack of Gurnaga or Gurmaduses for him to fight and immediately take out there. So that's my fault.
Braxious Mew is immediately headed for the bottom floor. I know why I would do that. Let's see if Braxious Muse burns some lava. Nope, we're looking for stuff.
Did he not? Maybe he didn't come back through after he may have come back, done the incentivized chest when he got killed down here and didn't get to see all these chests.
That could be it. Starting to think that skip chest might have been the thing he should have gone for at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. The chest density of the stuff he's checked versus what's still out there in other dungeons that he still has to complete, this feels like a bit of a misstep.
It's a question of the force, because you have to think to yourself, I have been skipping chests. What if one of those chests I skipped in an area that was difficult? What if my opponent grabbed them and that was the loose item? So you kind of end up in your own head at that point thinking, this thing that I skipped was totally the thing, and I'm currently making a bad mistake worse by doing it. So I have to go check it.
Yeah, I was concerned about that too, that he might be getting into his own head, because he took a few deaths at Ice, and I think he took a few deaths earlier at other places, and he may just feel behind, and he has to try and go back and really hunt instead of taking a risk. He doesn't want to get further behind.
Meanwhile, Len the Cat, with some questionable HP on his party, definitely a big proponent of Life 2 is the greatest healing spell in the game, but someone's got to be alive to cast it.
Found himself a black shirt. Looks like he's going to go grab that. Great armor for the black wizard.
Same as a gold shirt, but we also get cold and time resist, I believe, to go along with it. But we've got the ribbon, so it doesn't quite matter as much.
He put the black shirt on his black wizard, decided to then switch it back to the gold bracelet so he could move his black shirt to his second fighter. I'm iffy on that, only because of the protection that the black shirt provides.
Looking at armor, we've already got double gold bracelets on our mages, and we've got double ribbons on our mages, I think, as well. So we're covered for resistances, and we're covered for defenses. What we can really do with that black shirt is if we hand it to a knight, they can heft it in combat, and now a knight has AoE, which is fantastic.
But doesn't black shirt block one thing that the ribbon doesn't with the time magic, I believe?
Nope. Ribbon blocks everything, including time magic.
Okay, then.
Black shirt is the only other item in the game that blocks time magic.
Okay, fair enough, then. Then, yeah, I'm with you on that. If you're going to have your ribbon on your black wizard, then it's fine to move the black shirt around.
Mm-hmm.
And something we didn't note earlier, housing prices actually in this market are not bad at all. Tents are really cheap, but the houses themselves are not bad either.
500 gold for a house is some of the cheapest you'll get in this flag set, I think. I mean, we're at the point of the game where you basically have infinite money anyway. But this definitely would have been a nice thing to see earlier as well.
If you have to go out and buy some expensive spells at level 7 or level 8, like right here we see Fast and On-Rack. Exactly. Well timed there. Thank you, game. But yeah, no, you definitely hit the item shop at that point. Pick yourself up some cheap man before you go to your spell casting and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Len the Cat, snacking on some nachos. Hoping that nacho would take down Fighter 1, but the nacho was not zesty enough to do it.
We are on the Bridge of Destiny. Yep.
we're on the Bridge of Destiny, and our lead fighter's at 12 hit points. This is
risky. Well, no longer. He's at 0.
Okay, there we go. We can let rip the life 2. We're good to go.
Yep, he'll be fine and ready for Warmech at that point.
Meanwhile, Braxis Muse is on Kraken side now in Sea Shrine.
Chat is getting their Warmech hype ready. We are praying for him. Come on! Nope, more nachos.
What are we on? Like 35 seeds in a row with a Warmech? We gotta break the pattern at some point.
Something like... But I like fighting Warmech. I mean, he usually kills me, but I like fighting him. But I will take a plate of nachos any day. They are good experience.
We've got defense. We've got Nuke. We've got Mazza. I'd take a Warmech fight right now. Definitely.
I absolutely would too. And I'm sure he'd laugh at us and say it's tickle.
Left side of our screen, on Kraken side Sea Shrine, we have the Power Gauntlet in what's basically free chest.
Yeah, that is lovely right there. Oh yeah, and just basically the greed chest right there. I mean, that's something that Len should get when he goes past. That should not be skipped at all.
Theoretically, I mean, it depends on where we find the loose item and when we hit go mode.
I agree, but there's still, like, when the chest is only 2 steps away, I will still check it even then if there's a good item that I know I'm missing. Like, for instance, the Power Gauntlet. It takes almost no time to get it, and then if you get it, you're happy to have it.
Well, unfortunately, Len the Cat made it through the Bridge of Destiny with no happy robot sighting. We're just gonna have to settle for a Tiamat kill.
Maybe he'll go back afterwards. He'll do it for the fans.
I've heard tell of people crazy enough to head back onto the Bridge of Destiny to try and fish out a Warmech. I have never been that desperate for levels, but I've always been curious to try.
No, I would never. Because that's the thing, you do it, and you're like, cool, I got one, and then you take a step, and you get a second one, and you die. So... Yeah. So Len is fighting Tiamat right now, going in full charge. Neither of his swords are doing much. Looks like Tiamat, well, I guess Tiamat might have absorbed, but couldn't absorb that nuke.
Nope. No, Tiamat was rocking some huge absorb today, but not a lot in the hit points department. Len the Cat is through, 2 orbs lit. Meanwhile, Braxis Muse continuing to clear out seafloor. Not seafloor. Kraken, the Sharknado floor. That's where we are. Maps are hard.
I'll rely on you for that, because no one should trust me to remember where we are in the game.
Len the Cat also headed towards sea, I believe.
At this point, have we checked every place but sea?
No one's been to Earth.
Oh, I keep forgetting
Rightly
Earth
so.
exists.
Yeah. No one should go to Earth.
No one should go to Earth. Although, I think at this point, if it proves to be in first floor, there's going to be a number of people in chat. They're like, this is my strategy, this is why I always do it. We will win in Kobon by now.
I mean, 10% of the time, it works every time.
Was if it was Final Fantasy Free Enterprise, there's always value in Cave Bahamut.
Braxis Muse continuing the clear of the Sharknado floor, gets a Bane Sword for his troubles, runs into the Seafood Party Pack.
It's delicious when you don't have to fight it.
I mean, yeah.
I love me some lobster, a little bit of calamari there. It's good times, but, as the runner, I never want to see it.
No, I prefer my lobsters to be boiled, not, like, coming up my face.
Exactly. And of course, Len the Cat has the delightfully always unrunnable with Sahag Red Sahag fight that will never not be unrunnable because it's tied to the Pirate Party, which also has to be unrunnable.
One of the few downsides of the randomizer as it's configured is we just can't make this fight runnable, which I so desperately want this fight to be runnable sometimes.
It's like every once in a while they're packing heat and then your party suffers, and most of the time they take just enough charges that you wish you could just get away from them because they're not worth enough to have to fight them every time. Someone looks like got the Vorpal? I'm seeing Vorpal swords. Chat is trying to say Vorpal at us.
Chat's trying to say Vorpal. I ain't seeing a Vorpal.
I'm certainly don't see it in his inventory.
Maybe we've already dropped it. Maybe that's what we did.
It's like, no, I don't want this. You can't make me take it.
Look, I used to be a fan of dropping Vorpals for fun, but then I got Vorpal cursed, and Vorpal curses are not something you want to mess with.
Oh, absolutely, no. And what you could, I mean, you've got the Masamune. I don't think we found have we found the Excal yet?
We have not.
So,
the 2
this is one of those, yeah, this is one of those instances where the Vorpal is actually going to be very nice for both their Second Knight and or their Red Mage, depending upon who we're talking about, because both of them can equip it, both of them can use it quite well. If your fighter gets in trouble, you just start using the Vorpal on your other guy, and it works really nicely in that case. I mean, I'm still going to rely on Mazda most of the time, but the Vorpal's a good backup.
At this difficulty, I'm relying on Mazda, but we're getting dangerously close to the level where I want to start relying on Vorpal. Brax's Muse 3 Sharknado floors, Len the Cat starts to approach it, doing a little bit of inventory management at the moment. He's got a lot of stuff that he's now holding that he wasn't holding last time.
Yeah, there we go. He got his power as well. Looks like he's using his front knight as his meat shield, while his backup second knight's the one that's doing all the damage.
I'm told that that is how the 2-fighter strategy works. I'm not familiar enough with it to really know the ins and outs on it, but as I understand it, you have the first knight as the meat shield. You give them all the best armor, probably the defense sword, and then just let them stand there and take hits, while the knight in the second position is your damage dealer, the one you throw all the power bonk on, all the buffs into, so that they can so that you don't necessarily have to worry as much about them taking damage. And even if they do take a stray melee shot, they're still a knight. They're still going to be in heavy armor, so they'll probably survive it.
Okay, so Braxus is throwing his meat, his cardboard cutout of a black wizard up front. Gonna let Kraken take a few swings at that. The one thing he didn't do yet that I noticed is he didn't move his red mage down a slot just to try and emphasize the black wizard as the one to take the hits.
No, I think we're leaving both mages in the top slots because we're all in on this knight getting the kill.
That looks like 2 Brack charges and a blast from the fighter, and immediate broken to pieces from Kraken.
First Brack is good.
And note, that came from the red wizard, once again proving his worth.
Red Wizard certainly carrying this team today.
Fighter may look like he's the guy in charge, but we all know it's that Red Wizard.
Yeah. Doing a little bit of shopping, gotta stock back up on heal potions. We're gonna have to bite the bullet. We gotta go to Earth.
We do have to go to Earth at this point. There is nothing else here for us. Which, it would look like since Braxus is getting over there first, I would give the edge to him, but Len is 1 orb up on him, or will be once he's done in C, so it's hard to say who has the lead and how far ahead each of them.
At this point, it really is going to come down to where we end up finding the loose item. If Braxus heads to Earth and finds the loose item, then he could go mode Sky. And that'll save a lot of time, and I think he has the level advantage right now.
It's just a question of how fast a go mode of Sky is going to be in comparison to how far behind Len is at this particular moment.
Between greater than less than Sky First Floor and Starshape Room, that's a lot of walking out of your way that you can avoid. Especially if we're also skipping like the non-greed chests on top floor. So
Braxus may have the edge at this point.
I think Braxus is in this. I think it's too close to call at this point, assuming Braxus goes to Earth, which are not words that I prefer to say because I'm, team all-in Sky. And as I say that, Braxus is... No, wait. We hit the desert. We're heading left. We're heading south.
He's not sure where he wants to go yet.
We're doing air donuts.
He's looping around a few times trying to find where he wants to go. Has he not done ordeals yet?
I don't believe he's done ordeals, so let's get that out of the way.
Okay, so right now, with that in conjunction, I would kind of put the edge back towards Len.
Chat pointing out that he just got his canoe.
Which is
we still
required.
got Waterfall to do. Yeah, we still got Waterfall to do. We're now doing Ordeals.
Yep. Yep. Taking all that into account, then that puts Braxius, if he goes to all those places, that's definitely going to put Braxius somewhat behind. I don't know if I agree with chat and say it's a huge lead, especially with Topher very often being the great equalizer, but it's a lead nonetheless.
It's a sizable lead, and it will only continue to extend if, after we get these incentives out of the way, Braxius goes Sky rather than Earth.
Yeah, and that's where it's going to come down to. If Braxius goes to Sky first instead of heading Earth, then it's definitely going to be a multi-minute lead for Len at that point. Falconic, I agree with you. Most of the time, Topher becomes, like, pretty easy on these seeds, but I could swear we had one early in the tournament, like, first couple days, where Lich was just a doorstop for everyone. So while Braxius is making his way through Ordeals, Len looks like he's healing up. Potentially for Kraken.
We only saw the round 1 Brax, so we don't exactly know how dangerous this Kraken is, but at this level, in this gear set, few things are going to slow down Len the Cat's party, I think.
Yeah. So he's queuing up a nuke instead of a Brack. I'm not sure he actually took Brack, honestly. Defending up his front knight. Yep. 4 hits for 192, I believe, and then an Invis round, so...
3 hits,
second fighter with all that... Yep, that's not bad. That's good for considering the 8 Arms of Fury that were coming at him his way.
Yeah, Kraken did not eat his Wheaties this morning.
No. Not up against that Invis and Defense Sword, certainly. He's got... Yep. He's clearing through. 156 from the Defense Sword. The Kraken does not have that much before.
No, this is just kind of a battle of not doing anything right now. Oh, there we go. 4 hits, crit for 151. Finishes the job.
He tickled the fighter and then went down.
Len the Cat headed back into sea. I don't believe they checked mermaids.
Yeah, Braxius is the one that went to mermaids first. Len did the Kraken first in the hope that the item was going to be along the path. And, of course, more Sahags.
Everyone's favorite. Nobody likes them.
I mean, it could be worse. They just have to get the script. So let's all be happy that's not the case.
Question from chat. What is Len looking for right now? Loose key. Loose key is the one remaining loose item we have.
I think we're in agreement it's probably loose slab because the Lupa Lupa guys are going to have the key for him.
Right.
Because the Lupas can't have their own slab, right?
Correct. Lupas cannot have their own slab. And I do not believe we're missing any other fetch items. I think we've done Bottle, we've done Herb, we've done Crown, we've done Crystal.
Yeah, and Wote's confirming that Slab cannot be with the Lupas. They're not allowed to hold their own item. So Braxius gets the
chime.
Yep, getting the chime from the musical forger over there.
I tell you what, that's going to be the strongest bell in all the land because we handed over Adamant to get it.
I just imagine the fighter going around wielding it as a weapon.
Now that's a Geomancer I can get behind.
Yeah, Braxius is making his way over to the waterfall, which, from his perspective, is the perfect move to make right now. Gotta get these out of the way. It's an easy clear for him to do, especially with consider warp on his characters.
Ooh, Len the Cat passing up on the Wote sword. I don't know if I like that at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why he's okay with just using the defense sword and not worrying about it, but...
I don't remember
no
my math exactly.
No Excel.
I don't remember my math exactly, but I know that at some breakpoint, at some levels, defense is better than Sun, but at most levels, Sun is better than defense. at least in the levels that we're talking about in like the 20 to 30 range.
But he will stop for that heal staff.
Interesting. Sure. I am a disbeliever in the power of the heal staff, I'll be honest, because we can use it in combat to heal, 10 to 20 hit points on our party, sure. But when we're dealing with Tornado and Swirl and even, Blaze and Thunder through ribbons, we're kind of making negative progress on what we're doing, because, we take 50 and then we heal 20.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where even when I have, heal staff or heal helm on one of my party members, and I'm sitting there going, I'm going to use this, it's going to be necessary, it almost always seems like a good offense is better than a strong defense.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in all-in offense. I mean, that's why I don't run white mages.
Looks like Len's trying to grind a few quick levels off the Sharknado route.
Given that this is the last the last dungeon that we're going to be finding good experience enemies in, and given that his fighters are around the 21 range, I have to imagine there's a bit of panic going on and thinking we need to fix our levels as much as we can before we leave here. So a lot of encounters that ordinarily wouldn't be on the table, I think he's going to be taking.
Yeah, I agree with trying to get as close to 24 as you can before you get into Topher. It always hurts when you get there, it's like, okay, Topher's going to give you my level, and then you die in Topher, and you have to try and get that level again.
Mm-hmm. We have warp access at a low level, so we could do a grind in Topher if we really, really wanted to. And that might be a thing that we see happening eventually on at least Len the Cat's side.
It looks like Braxis was getting confused there for a second, trying to figure out what to do. He's starting to, looks like he's not sure what he missed or where the treasure chest might be that he needs.
Nope. We gotta check Earth. No one likes doing Earth. Everyone skips Earth. We gotta do Earth.
Okay, chat. Get your blessed first level key item here, as those who like the second say.
That's a rune sword. That's not what we want. One
That's
down
certainly not worth it.
Where are we going?
Burning off an encounter.
Stroll.
I hear Earth Cave on the east side is quite lovely this time of year.
Everyone's breaking out their Fitbits. We called this tournament Sail the High Seas. Maybe we should have just called it Run Over All the Tiles. $110, $17, still not what we want.
Isn't it like a Super Metroid randomizer, 100% map completion?
Maybe that's what we're doing. Back in the Earth Cave.
Looks like Woat's already tried to put out his guess for where the chest is. If you guys want to try and guess where this key item is going to be residing.
I gotta go with One Fine Day in chat. He says it'll be that chest in B3, and I gotta agree with that. This feels like a that chest seed.
Yeah, the Earth 4th floor treasury is an easy guess because there's so many in there. I'm gonna guess in the room with the Earth Elemental tile.
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Decent chest density, but not the usual one you want to hit. And it's early enough that...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You go for it.
Brax's Muse, meanwhile, in first floor of Mirage, going to be doing the full clear of Mirage Sky. This is going to be unfortunate for him. At least he'll get more levels out of it, though.
Yeah, and this is definitely giving Len that 10 to 15 minute lead easy that chat's been talking about. The one thing he did that I don't know, he passed up that light axe, which I know it only does harm too, but considering some of the enemies in here and your need to get some levels while you're in Sky, I might have just grabbed it for the sake of throwing it at the vampires.
I'm kind of agreeing with skipping it. At this point in the game, we're over level 20, so nothing in here is any kind of threat to us. And anything that we do bump into that just happens to be unrunnable, we can just nuke them. All we need are the two weapon swingers to just one round jump the speed bumps, both in the middle and the end. I'd pass on the light axe because it's inventory futzing and skip it.
And that's a fair observation that we say as we get vampires.
Oh, and there's a lot of vampires. That light axe is nice. When there's only one, you can just bop them in the face and move on.
Oh, certainly. That 5-pack, that light axe and the whoever's swinging the mage staff, that would have come in really handy. Most of them would have gone down between the two of them.
Looks like we're going to be making room for the Aegis Shield, and possibly also, there we go, also the white shirt.
So this room might not have had the key item, but my room that I guessed for at least had some good items in it.
Yeah. I'll consider that a win.
Certainly. Almost put the white shirt on instead of the opal, and yeah, no, I gotta agree with keeping the opal on there. Its defense is better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, there's Excalibur.
Ooh, man. There you go. Room was loaded.
Yeah.
So, sorry, all you Vorpal lovers. I think we're good with the swords we have now.
I gotta say, I'm starting to reconsider my Never Earth thing based on what we're finding right here.
That one room was fantastic. I mean, if you have to full clear a dungeon, that's what you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And chat's pointing out they found a Bane sword somewhere in here as well, so that's nice to have as well. Although it's a little late this far into the seed, you really want to see that before you have to go fight TMO.
Yeah. I mean, you can still show it to Tiamat 1. It's like 15-16% chance. It's okay. It's not great.
Falconic in chat, I'm starting to agree with you that Earth might not always be a bad play now.
I don't know.
If we see that, then that 10% happens every time.
Alright, here we go. Here's my money coming up. Len the Cat approaching that chest in Earth B3.
This one all the way over here that you just don't want to have to walk to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, unrunnable, is that, yep, world record wolves right here.
Here we go,
And
big money. Darn.
Big money.
$67. I should have been more specific with my chancing.
And unrunnable images as well. Earth has a fair number of unrunnables.
Yeah.
And Chad confirming that Bane was in the Sharknado room in the Sea Shrine. I just want to make that out. Thank you, Chad. Oh, these unrunnable images are just not fun. They have heal too, so they just waste more of your time in the process.
Mm-hmm. Lightning 3 is fine. I think if I saw these again, I would just auto-nuke.
Yeah, I'd agree with that at this point. Or since you have your white mage up, go with the harm 4 that we had from way earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not using it for much else at this point.
And it's level 1, we've got basically infinite charges. Yeah, sure. Harm 4
Yeah.
up.
Another pack of unrunnable wolves. Although it looks like the Grey Wolves have no morale at this point, so they're running.
It always feels bad when the encounter is unrunnable and then you just watch them start to run. It's like, come on. This is a two-way street here. If you can run, I can run.
One of us is not playing by the rules here.
Okay, soft. Still no key.
Goes right past the Bat Party room, doesn't even show them to us. That's harsh.
No, I think Len the Cat is feeling behind at this point because he's been clear. We're rapidly approaching that 100% clear that no one ever wants to see. You just have to think.
Well, with enough of the people in this tournament at this point being of the opinion that you go to Earth when you're this Earth earlier than this when you're this far in, so you just get it out of the way. At least check Earth 1 and 2. He's got to feel like maybe my opponent did that. Maybe they didn't have to full clear everything like I did. They've got to be at Topher by now, right?
Yeah, it's just that question of did someone go to Earth? If someone went to Earth, I'm behind, but no one goes to Earth, so maybe I'm fine. This is the part where I think nerves might be starting to show.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, he's starting to take a little longer with his menuing, starting to think a little further.
Got another image pack. Here comes the Harm 4 and the Lightning 3. We're done waiting for Heal 2.
Yep, that takes it out right quick.
Here we go. Top of B4. What do we got? The bottle? Okay, we didn't do the bottle, but this is the thing we need. The bottle's going to lead to the slab. The slab... Yeah, the bottle's going to lead to the slab. The slab's going to lead to the key.
Yep, because they each have to have something. And since they're both going to have something, and that was our loose item, we're done. We're technically... Although they don't have all the items, we're go at this point.
We just got to go.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be bottle the slab to key. Because each of those people have to fulfill their key item quest part of the chain.
Right. Because, yeah, we've... Just a quick little inventory of my own. We've done Crown, we've done Crystal, we've done Herb. So all that's left is Bottle and Slab.
Yeah. I can't remember anything else. Although, of course, I couldn't remember Bottles, so...
Alright, here comes the blink and you miss it speed bump. Two whole actions to get rid of Lich 1. That's a waste of actions right there. We're outside, and we've got Gazing Gerwolves. Gotta try and get past those because I don't believe we dropped the tent, but we might not care because we're headed the airboat, and we're headed for probably a last-minute shopping trip, stock up on heals. No, sorry, turn in the bottle, that's what we're doing. Which was Gaia, which was Onrak. Then headed to Melmond, which was Lefane. Yeah, we're going to be on a world-circling trip here.
Yeah,
but,
just for a quick recap for everyone, now that we're heading into Temple of Fiends, in case anyone's wondering what was going on before that, the towns were Corneria, of course, at Corneria, Provoca at Lefane, Elfland at Elfland, so the elves did not move, they liked exactly where they were at. Melmond was at Crescent Lake, and Crescent Lake was at Onrak. Onrak was at Gaia, Gaia was at Provoca, and Lefane was over at Melmond, so the Lupa Lupa people... If I'm reading this right. Maybe I'm reading this backwards. Let's try that again. Provoca was Lefane. I'm like, no, Lefane wasn't over there. Yeah, Provoca was Lefane. Elfland, of course, was Elfland, because they didn't move. Melmond was Crescent. Crescent was Onrak. Onrak was Gaia. Gaia was Provoca. And Lefane was Melmond. So the dirt poor town was moved out in the middle of woods where no one could get. We're concerned, the king...
Meanwhile, level 7 and 8 magic, just want to point out, we had Exit at 7, and then we've got Fade and Quadex at 8. Not the magic I want to see that high.
No, certainly not. I mean, I'd pick up the Fade, I would pick up the Exit. I'd probably just use the Exit for a quick Topher grind, and then I'd move on with my life. Okay, as far as key items were concerned, and Fizzle, feel free to interrupt me at any moment here, because there's a lot to read. We had the king giving out the floater, and the Princess Sarah had the tail. Matoya chest was a loose TNT. Dwarf chest had the defense sword. Narek had the ship when you cashed in the TNT to him. Sages had the herb. Vicky had the crystal. The elf prince had the oxy ale from that herb. Matoya had the canoe once you gave her back the crystal. Sarda had the ruby, keeping that out of the four hands of that Titan. And unfortunately, Titan's Cave then had nothing. The Forest Cardiac Isle had the Mazamoon. Wizard Chest was the crown. And that crown at Astos led to the cube. Armory Chest in the volcano had a loose ribbon. Robot had the rod, and it looks like we're on the Bridge of Destiny again, or getting close to it, because everyone is putting out their war mech hype. So, Robot had the rod. Ordeals had adamant. That adamant at the Dwarven Blacksmith then turned into time. The eye chest at the ice cave had the ribbon. Mermaid chest had a sun sword for those as like it. Caravan had your shoppable loot. Mirage 1 had an opal bracelet for you if you went through it, and then Sky Cave of the 6th chest room there on the 3rd floor was a black shirt. She Shrine Green chest had that power bonk that you're going to want when you're going up against Topher. Sharknado room was a Thor hammer, for those that like it, because it is useful. Earth 2 South was a white shirt, along with an Aegis shield, and an Excalibur. That room was loaded. Earth 4 was a bottle, Barry's going to have a slab then, and Leafin is going to have the key.
Alright, and while we've been going over this, we've got bad news, I think, for Braxis Muse. Still committed to that Damned White Mage, because at level 5 Magic, we've got Cure 4 and Wall, neither of which are red learnable. That's bad news.
That hurts. I mean, it's going to balance out. It balances out a little, because it's not like Len was going to get them either, but...
Well, Len is going to get them. He's got a White Mage.
Well, but... you are correct. As far as the White Mage is concerned, the Red Mage wasn't going to get it, but the Knights weren't going to get it either. So on that perspective, it balances out. You are correct, because Braxis decided never to revive his White Mage.
And...
The RNT I'm at right now, it looks like we've got a fast setup on the fighter, and then he's trying to figure out what to do with his Red Mage. His glorious Red Mage that has carried him through everything. Decides to fight 3 hits from the fighter for 163, if I'm not mistaken. Numbers do confuse me sometimes. Red Mage was 3 hits for 1 something. Queuing up a round of Bane Sword and 2 fight hits. Bane misses. Fighter comes in for 9 hits, 604, and Tiamat is down.
It's also appropriate to pay respects to the end of the Curse of War mech. This is the first seed I've seen in forever. There was no war mech between either player.
Looks like Len the Cat got the key, so he was over in Leafin for one fine day, who was asking that was the end of the chain, and Len the Cat, no doubt at this point, should be in go.
Absolutely. I believe he's outside Topher. We're just chewing on some camping equipment real quick so that we can get those heal pots over to the left side of our menu. Unfortunately, we came with a lot of cabins, or a lot of tents, so...
He has those heal pots aimed just right, as he does the exact same thing I always do, walk into Topher and then immediately walk over instead of up. I hate that every... But yeah, he got that, the tents out of the way, because that heal pots are going to be in the bottom corner right there on the left, so you just push up, press A, and you can immediately assign one of your party members. Best place to have it.
It's great for menuing. Len the Cat, running away from gas dragons, and that tells me that we're on an information dive. I believe we're still sitting around the 22 range, which is kind of ambitious, I think, for this flag set. I think he wants to see just exactly what he's up against before deciding whether to grind or not.
It's not entirely impossible for him to do it with that heal bonk and the good swords and armor that he has, but I think you're right. I don't think he could do it on this round.
We've seen some weak Tophers so far, but I don't know how long that pattern's going to hold.
Zombie D's come up to him and like, I'm going to surprise you, and then scratch your back. But if this is a weak Topher, then I think Len's in good shape. It just depends on how the bosses take out.
Right, and we're not going to get that answer really until... Sometimes Carry 2 is difficult, but...
Yeah, this is probably not going to be that 1% where Lich is the doorstop.
No, I never bank on that, but if Carry 2 has a lot of Absorb, that could prove kind of a problem for this party. And then we'll get our first real assessment of how effective this party is going to be when we hit Kraken 2.
Len apparently getting through a really tight portion of the encounter table right there. It was like 4 very quick back-to-back encounters on that floor.
And that's a good floor you want to see it on. The further you get inside, the less you want to see encounters, except for the fire floor. The fire floor is usually pretty tame. Usually.
And if you're hurt upper levels, it never hurts to see that 3-pack of Agamas show up.
Mm-hmm. Alright, here we go. Speed bump 2. What do we got?
No respect for Lich.
Harm 4.
No bonking, no buffing. He's just going straight at him.
Lich opens with Lit 2, as we expect.
A quick tickle to the warriors, but he does survive the first round, which is not often that he does that.
2 rounds. Let's just use some more Harm 4s and Fire 3s. We're not using those anywhere else.
He did claim a victim. He got the Black Wizard down with the fire, too. And then gets beefed with a harm.
Well, good thing we've got, 4,000 charges of life, too.
Exactly. Whatever, just enjoy that.
Brax's Mew is currently on 2nd floor of Earth Cave. Isn't going to find the world trip news until they get all the way down to B4, and they're going to be opening every box from here to there.
He'll at least get some good armor along the way, which I don't think he'll complain that much about, but certainly he would have rather just had the key item and gotten on with his life. Gotta feel behind at this point.
Alright, here we go. Carry 2. What do we got? We're opening with Bane Sword.
Bane Sword. What's the chances of that at this point? She's defended against that, isn't she?
3 and 256. Oh, opens with Nuke. Down go the mages.
Oh
boy.
That hurts. That hurts. Well, this definitely feels more like an information grind now.
Stop tags the top fighter. We gotta end this pretty quick. Ooh. Oh boy.
She is down, though.
Made it through, but by the skin of our teeth. That's not good.
And not even... There. Yeah. Think about bringing them back. Don't tease us here. Get your people back up. I mean, as long as one of those fighters survive, he's okay because of all those Life 2 charges, but...
Alright, let's fire hose some heal potions, because we want to... Now we're going to use the Cure 4. That's
and it's good to note...
It's not the worst.
No. And it's good to note that Carrie having at least that one nuke, that's a bit of information we didn't have before. There's
That's a nuke that isn't anywhere else.
Can't be in the pool at this point. There's how many nukes are in the pool normally?
3.
So that certainly greatly reduces the chance that Chaos has that. Just those 3 and a couple nuclears now, right?
Correct. We're on the lookout for 2 nukes and 4 nuclears.
Okay.
Some of those might have rolled on Warmech, which we never saw, and Lich 2, which we don't care about. But if they didn't, then we're going to be probably seeing them coming up real shortly.
Yeah, because that gives us 5 bosses with 7 charges, one of which is already out, so that's 6 left. There's a good chance that if Chaos has one, the math says he only has one of them.
Alright, here we go. Kraken 2. Ready, trash encounter.
Popcorn
Ready,
seafood.
Go.
There we go.
Start with defense.
Thinking about it, went with a Thor hammer, if I'm not mistaken, and a bait.
I believe he backed out and went to swing, and then after Invis 2 and nuke. Rub misses. Invis 2 goes off. We got to get that evasion up just in case that Kraken tries to hug us. Defense up even more. Has a swing. 4 hits.
Absorb.
Oh, this is bad.
Yeah, the nuke did good damage, but that sword swing did not. He needs power box more, but Kraken did have a free round.
We're gonna go with power, some more Invis 2.
And
out comes nuclear. Down goes the Black Mage. That's bad. 4 hits 82 from defense. That ain't doing anything.
No.
Oh, here comes Fire 3. Tags the White Mage.
Yep. Now, the top fighter did over 400 damage there, and it looks like the bottom did another 100 and something, so... 4 hits for 265, 4 hits for 367. Bane doesn't do anything. He's got a good run at this point with these warriors at this point.
Oh, stop. That fighter's very vulnerable to stop. But we get through, and we've still got life 2 charges on the knight, so... We're doing okay, but this is very much kind of, walking a tightrope at this point, I think.
Yeah. Well, and to note, he also has regular life charges on his White Mage. So even if he burns through all the life 2s, he can still keep bringing back some as long as that White Mage survives.
Or as long as the knights don't run out of life 2 charges, yeah.
Yeah. But even then, he's got a backup to his backup.
So as long as we can make it through a fight, everything is fine and we've lost no momentum. But these have been some very close fights.
Yeah, there seems to be a fight queued up before every one of the bosses right now. The boss is like, no, you want to talk to me? You got to go through my Guardian first. He's my agent. Talk to him. He'll let you through.
Starting off the fight with defense, bonk, and Viz 2, and considering our options, let's go for nuke. Oh, just eats the white mage.
Yes, that Invis 2 is not going to happen now. Nuke low roll
straight on the attack. 4 hits for 101 from defense. That could have been better. Mazda swing, 3 hits, 272, not good. Nuke hits, 282, not good. Well, decent, good for Nuke,
decent absorb, decent evade from the looks of it. Oh, a 19
1 hit for 19. Ugh. And 4 hits, 219 on Mazda. Fire 3 comes out. 170 to the Black Mage. That Black Mage isn't going to be around much longer. Let's fire off that last nuke while we've got it. 111 doesn't do good.
I'd be bonking up at this point. It's just with the amount of absorbers they have, you don't want it. Like, the chip damage is starting to take toll on some of them.
I think we need to hold A and pray at this point.
I think I'd bonk once, and then I think I'd do exactly what you're saying.
No, there's way too much physical damage coming in. We gotta... One more bonk, and that Black Mage needs to be casting magic now.
Well,
3 hits, 360 crit. Down goes Tia 2. Let's bring everybody back to life and see what Chaos has got today. Meanwhile, Braxis Muse is on Earth B4, has just found the bottle. He's in semi-go mode. I mean, he's in go mode for the longest trip in the world.
Yeah. He's got a long fetch quest for his go mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got to turn the bottle in, which is not a short run there, as you go through all of Gaia to do that. And then you've got to take that slab, go to Melmond, which is down in the bottom of that forest, where Leafin usually is, only to then take it back out, and finally go to Leafin, which is over at Provoca. The Provoca part's the shortest part.
Alright, here we go. Approaching the Chaos Room. What do we got? We're keeping both the knights front and center. Doing some last-minute equipment rearranging. Putting defense on the swingy knight. Considering our options...
Looks like he's definitely going on that one.
We want to put white shirt in the hands of the top fighter. We want to move the ribbon to the Black Mage. That is interesting.
But not rearranging his party. He thought about it and then decided not to, so...
Right,
front mage is...
White shirt.
Yep.
White shirt defense. Invis 2. Gotta assume this is fast. This is fast. Okay, we gotta get the... after this, will be 4 of our 6 Invis stacks on that middle fighter. That's almost...
But it already seems like it might be enough, because the Chaos is already missing.
Go with the white shirt, some more power, 1 more Invis 2, or not. No, we're going to do wall on that top fighter.
Keep that fighter alive better, and then a fast on that fighter as well, so that they both can break out their damage. It's a good strategy so far, especially with...
We've got 3 stacks on the top, and we've got 5 stacks on the second. And that looks like that's enough. We're going to be going for something on the white mage.
Still deciding. Fog 2 now to lower the damage if it does come through.
Interesting pick. I gotta say, I'm kind of negative about that Fog 2.
Well, Fighter is already doing 467 damage with his swing, so another Temper on top of that's really going to crank that up for him.
Chaos is going to start showing something if he wants to live.
8 hits for 322 from that defense sword. He's queuing up another round of Tempers and attacks. Defense comes out with 8 hits for 355. Chaos misses. 8 hits for over 1,000 damage, and another Temper on there. I don't think Chaos has much longer in the world.
No, so there's going to be something drastic right now where Chaos is hosed.
Nope, that was a missed hit. 8 hits for 1,100 damage.
This is a chunky Chaos.
He is. 8 hits for 152. He is... But he doesn't seem to have anything. And that takes
melee only Chaos.
Yep.
All right.
Chaos is down. GG Celeste.
With an official SRL time of 1 hour 51 minutes and 59 seconds. Meanwhile, Braxis Muse, continuing their world quest. trying to figure out where Melmond was. Oh, here we go. We found it. We found the landing strip. We're good to go.
Yep, just gotta get over there. We need to see if we can get Len the Cat in for an interview.
Rounding out the North Peninsula, we've got nothing that's going to stand in our way at this point. The Giants aren't doing anything. Just got to get to Melmond. Melmond, of course, not happy with their terrible location on the coast. They decided to move into the middle of nowhere. There's a slab translation. Alright, now let's make the trip back. Mute comes out from Trolls, but I think we're all a high enough level at this point, and we've got enough ribbons that Mute's just not going to do anything. Oh, here's DJ Tiny Arms. Opens with Dark. Got to set the mood first before we let rip that mixtape.
But turn the lights down low, then get the fog machine going, and...
Looping around back to Elfland location. This is not where we want to be. Let's get back in the bus. Let's head over this way. We know Lefane somewhere. See if it's over here.
It was so early that we saw it. I can't blame him if he forgot where it went.
No, that's one of the things that I have a problem with too, is that I try to narrate to myself as I go, like where locations are. Like I go here, and it's like, okay, Lefane at Provoca. And I can usually remember that for a solid 30 to 45 minutes after I say that. And if I need to remember it after that, especially if I'm having to deal with anything difficult, like encounter table manipulation or whatever, it just falls out of my brain. I'm just like, oh yeah, Lefane was a town. I'm sure that was somewhere.
Somewhere in there. Hey, Len, you with us?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, congratulations, GG.
Oh, man, what a race. Man, I was assuming I was losing the whole time, you know.
We had that feeling.
Right off the bat, when I got started, my controller unplugged from my computer, and I spent like 20 seconds scrambling to get it back up. I don't know if you guys could see that.
I didn't happen to notice, so if you did it, it was smooth.
Yeah, no, it was perfectly well timed. It's great.
Man, like I was looking for that key and looking for the key, and I figured out that it was going to be a chain of things. I knew it was going to be bottle leaning to slab leading to key because there was nothing left. So those had to be the items. Mm-hmm. So, you know, then I full clear sky and I full clear sea, and then I full clear volcano, and then I'm in the middle of full clearing earth and it's at the bottom. And like about the time that I find that, I keep thinking, you know, that Braxis is going to go done right about the time I found the key.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard thing because you never know if someone's going to be that one person that decides to go full clear earth early.
Yeah, I pretty much never will unless there's some really good reason to. You know, I'd rather do either sky or sea because you can get good experience along the way.
So, I got a question for you, Len. You hit Topher at somewhere around the 21 to 22 mark. Is that your intention in this flag set, or were you kind of hoping you were a little bit higher?
This was about maybe 10 minutes behind where I would have liked to have been, you know, with these kind of flags. You know, I had the one advantage of full clearing everything is I had such good equipment that even if I didn't have the best levels, I felt like my equipment and the fact that I had Life 2 on the two fighters made it so that I could do Topher at a slightly lower level.
Well, you did it. I mean, Fizzle and I were sitting there going, I'm not sure I'd be doing this right now, but you managed to clear through it with ease.
Well, I wouldn't say with ease. You know, I think my two non-fighters got wiped out 2 or 3 times, but it's just that Life 2 on the fighters make it, you know, then I've got 3 guys with Life 2. It really makes it, you know, easy. And then I've got the power bonk. I had, you know, really all the good equipment. So I really felt like if I could get through to Chaos, no matter how nasty he was, and it looked like he was quite fat, that I could kill him.
He was fat, but he wasn't very skillful at all. He didn't seem to have anything on him except the ability to punch.
Yeah, the only really scary thing I saw from any of the fiends was the nuke on carry, which was not fun.
Nuke on carry and then a nuclear on Kraken, if I'm not mistaken. And that seemed to be the extent of their spell pool.
Yeah, I didn't see anything else. The only really nasty thing I saw was the slimes or whatever they were in Marsh that wiped me out with damage poison once.
Yeah, and that was early enough that it was going to do that. Lich does apparently have Tornado because Braxis just saw that.
Did he just get to Lich 2?
He did just get to him.
And so what slowed him down? Did he have the same trouble as me finding all the items?
Essentially, yeah. His routing was he didn't find the canoe until super late, so his ordeals was delayed, his waterfall was delayed, and then he went into sky over earth because, of course, that's what you do. So he just ended up falling behind, unfortunately.
I think there were a couple of early double dips he did as well that just slowed him down a touch.
All right, here we go. Carry 2 fight. We're going to open with Nuke and Swing. Let's see how we get.
Oh, so what did he have for a party?
Rainbow Party on a fighter.
Yeah, he went with Fighter Rainbow and Dan the White Mage immediately.
That was a mistake with Life 2 available.
Oh! And with the rub getting through, that's a wipe on Carry 2. And it looks like Braxis Muse is going to be forfeiting.
Confirmed, Braxis has forfeited. I'm going to see if I can get him in for an interview.
It's rough to see, but with the opening of the nuke, into stop that hits, into rub that hits, I can completely understand the situation of just looking at that and saying, nah, we're not doing this today.
Can't blame for that at all.
I really think in these flag sets, if you can, 2 fighters is a great way to go. You know, and here I was lucky in that available, but I really think 2 fighters, it's a lot of hit points and a lot of tank right up front that can really absorb a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, you definitely made the most of 2 fighters, especially full clearing the game. That's pretty much the optimum scenario for your party, I think.
Well, and with the 2 flags that had, and as you proved, there's a 25% chance that one of your knights is going to get something halfway useful on them. That's not bad.
No, it's not. If you get either Life or Life 2, or even like a Cure 4, there's a bunch of things that Knights can really help you out on. And we got the tail super early, so, it all fell into place.
Hey, Braxis, good to join us. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
It's a tough beat there. I'm sorry for you.
You know, though, I'm actually glad that I was able to realize I pulled a Dangwu earlier, because I would have felt even worse to see Len finish and still have no orbs. But the fact that I was able to catch the mistake, I think, relatively early and still try to progress. I mean, he only beat me by a few minutes because I was just about to enter Topher when he was dunning. So I mean, otherwise, I feel like the rest of the run I did pretty well.
I would agree for the most part. There was I think if you go back and watch the VOD, there's a few times where we questioned your exact routing, but for the most part, you made it work, and you were doing things efficiently once you got up to speed.
Yeah, and I think the other part that got me is I was talking to, I think it was Wilcleosis and some other people earlier this week, is having an incentivized ribbon, I don't really know if I like, because when you find it out of a chest, it's like, is that the loose item? Is it not? And actually, at first, when I found it in Ice Cave, I was like, oh, incentivized location, this has to be the item. So there for a while I stopped checking a lot of chests because I assumed at that point I had both loose items, and then I got to a stale where it was like I was still missing item, and the only thing that could be was it was still loose.
Yeah, I've heard that complaint before from other people over on the Discord, and it's one of those things of blame the person who came up with the flag seed for that.
No, I like having a ribbon incentivized, because it's so necessary. But, if we find the ribbon in an incentivized location, that means you have one extra floating item, basically.
Yeah. It if you know where it is at the right location, it's useful. But at the same time, I can see the case for how it's difficult to tell when and what is incentivized and not with that ribbon floating there. Just because there's 3 of them in the pool normally.
And like I said, I forgot about if you find it like that it basically adds another one. So there was a few places I was like, no, I don't really need to check these. Like when I was in Waterfall, you know, I was like looking for a few chests because I wanted armor, and then I got the opal armor, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty much ready to go, and that's why I stopped checking chests. And then I realized a little bit later that maybe the item I needed was in there. So if I did find it in Earth Cave, which was just horrendous, like almost every encounter there was unrunnable, that's why I was like, I gotta check every chest here until I found the bottle, because the last thing I wanted to do is have to run back and double check Earth Cave with the unrunnables that they had.
Yeah, we were noticing those unrunnables, and they did not look good at all. The unrunnable wolf pack, that was fairly common. What, unrunnable images too? That
Yep.
those first couple of floors were, yeah.
What about Len? I gotta ask you that marsh dive. What did you think about that marsh dive?
Well, I went down, I got all the way, I was almost to the wizard chest when I got wiped the first time by the guys with damage poison. I think they were mucks or something like that.
Scum, yeah.
Yeah, scum, yeah. And so the next time down, I was said, okay, I'm just making a beeline for those chests. I had 2 warp charges at that point. So I got the incentivized chest, you know, limped out of the floor with the wizards, and then was able to warp and get out. So it didn't cost me that much time. I only had 1 wipe there. But I did leave some chests behind, and then I went and basically full cleared the game, because I think I did the same thing as you. I did Earth last. And so as I was going through Earth Cave, I got to the last floor of Earth, and the only chests in the game I hadn't searched at that point were like the 3 or 4 that I'd left behind in Marsh, and I was thinking, oh man, I'm gonna have to go back to Marsh, and I was thinking that was where it was, and you got it in Marsh a long time ago, and I was way behind. So
No, and like I said, I thought the same thing. Like when I got to the last floor of Earth, I was trying to think back, like what did I forget? And the only chest I could think of that I forgot was there was 3 in the waterfall I skipped, and then the 1 floor I skipped on the right side of Sea Shrine, because I went down right to the mermaids, but I skipped the 2 chests in the floor just before the mermaids were the only chests I could think of. But then when I saw the bottle, I was like, okay. And you hadn't finished yet, so I'm like, man, you know, either he did something wrong, or like this seed is just unforgiving. And then I saw you finish just a few minutes after that, so.
yeah, when I was going into Topher and my whole Topher dive, I was just watching the SRL channel to see who got done. Like I was pretty sure I was behind at that point, which is why I took a lot of chances and I did Topher at a pretty low level. But
Nice.
because I full cleared the game and I had 2 knights, I just had such good equipment. You know, I had 1 guy with Mazda and 1 guy with Excalibur and Power Bonk and everything else. So I was able to force my way through.
Yeah, you know, and it's crazy to think, like, we got floater early. I don't know about you, but I had my floater at like 7 minutes or something. You think, oh man, this seed's gonna just cruise by, but the fact that it's still like a 2-hour seed, I mean, makes these flags very runnable in my opinion.
Yeah, well, but if either one of us had gone to Earth Cave, I think we could have cut maybe 20 minutes off the time, or maybe 15.
Oh, easy, I think. I'm not sure when you would have wanted to do that Earth Cave. Maybe early. We were talking about when exactly to hit Sky Cave, because the chime in the cube fell in your guys' lap fairly quickly early on there. And if you'd had the desire to go do it, hit Sky and then maybe just go do Earth after a quick tail conversion, and that might have freed up a good 20 minutes or so on both of your runs there, because you wouldn't have had to full clear very much more after that.
There was a couple times I thought about doing Earth right after I had the rod, but it's like I don't like doing it, because if I'm gonna do Earth, I'd rather just go mode it if I can, especially in the case of that Earth Cave having all those unrunnables. So I mean, I a couple times I decided just against it and felt that there was better plays, but you know, that's the gamble you make.
And one thing about if you'd gone to Earth earlier, you were still going to get some of those awesome treasures they had just because of its placement there. If you hadn't had to full clear Earth, there's a possibility you might have skipped some of those rooms because of their density and the things that were in front of them. It's hard to say whether or not that would have worked out in your favor in the long.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there was 1 room in Earth that had the Excalibur, the white shirt, and the Aegis shield, I think.
Yeah, we were in the chat room in the commentary. We were playing the Link to the Past style guess the treasure chest for the big key, but it was, you know, of course, the bottle in this case, and that was one that's a couple of us suggested, and like it didn't have the specific item, but it had a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I was really happy. Like I said, I mean, I know I made a few mistakes there early, but it's always a pleasure to get to play against Len the Cat. So I was really glad that we got paired up for round one. So
I was actually kind of sad to get paired up against you in round one because, you know, we've run so many practice races and, you know, we've definitely played together a lot. So, I mean, it's kind of cool because we race against each other a lot, but, you know, it's, you know, kind of sad because only, you know, one of us is going to get, you know, beat.
yeah.
Yeah, but there's still another couple rounds to the Swiss tournament. You both have time to get further along and maybe face off against each other again at some point.
You know, like definitely could happen. Oh, my goodness. But man, the whole point of these races is to not have these silly jet seeds where you get the floater right off the bat. And here we are, and we got the floater right off the bat.
Yep. You had to work for the ship, though, so at least there's that.
Yeah, I agree. We did have to work a little bit for the ship.
Not that you really need it by the time you got it, but still. All right, well, GG, guys. You got anything else you want to like mention before we move on?
No, I just want to thank everybody, Speed Gaming, for hosting us. I want to thank all you guys for the commentary, the tracking, and just everybody behind the scenes getting the tournament together and taking time out of their real life to be able to do these. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and GG to you, man. I know you ran a great race. I'm gonna go back and watch the VOD. I was so sure that you were kicking my butt the whole time that it made me take some chances near the end, and they mostly paid off. So it was a heck of a lot of fun. Thanks a lot for the commentators too.
The funny thing about this before we go is you get sometimes all worked up, doing these races and stuff like that. That for me, like especially, I always look forward to when the race is done. I actually get to go back, sit back and actually, watch it again. So from another point of view.
Well, thank you to you both. It was a great match, and win or lose, you both did really well.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Fizzle, well, I think we're done here. We do have a couple more games coming up on Speed Gaming 3 today. Final Fantasy Randomizer is going to own this channel for the rest of the day. At 5 o'clock Eastern Time, we have Tristal versus Tyrannex. That's going to prove to be a great one, as Tristal is one of our one-time winners for the tournaments way back in the day. Following that, we then have Wilcliosis versus, and I hope I get this right, sorry if I don't, Rathitscalib. I'm sure I said that wrong, and I do apologize for that. Do you know how that one's pronounced?
Rafe hates Caleb.
There we go. See, don't make me read these things when I don't know any better. Both of those are going to be on SG3. That second match is coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern today. I want to thank the Speed Gaming for hosting us. Thank our chat and everyone who came and watched the game with us. Thank you to you, Fizzle. This has been a great one to commentate and just hang out with.
Oh, thank you for joining me for this as well. This has been a ride, and I've just enjoyed so much of this tournament so far. And again, thank you to Speed Gaming also as well for hosting us. I can't wait to see more of these matches.
Yes, thank you. Thanks also to Kenny Starr and Min. I believe they are our trackers for today. And Wout was our restreamer. Make sure to give everyone here a follow. Those are in the chat there. And if I said anyone's name wrong or I got any of that wrong, of course you guys will let me know. That's always great for that. Thanks to everyone, and we will see you again next time. Oh, and apparently Wout was tracking too. Thanks, Wout.
Thanks, everybody.